Hi, everyone. I'm Danielle Percival, your host for this edition of Piedmont People. Piedmont People is a podcast that tells the stories of what makes Piedmont special. It's students, faculty, staff, alumni, and supporters. It's the people of Piedmont that make us great. Joining me today is our head cheerleading coach, Kristen Rayburn. Kristen, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
We're so excited to have you as part of the Piedmont family and talk today about the Piedmont cheerleading program, how things are evolving, the changes that are coming for this program, and just your story of coming to Piedmont. It's a pretty unique one. Tell us a little bit about your journey to become a part of the Piedmont family.
It's been a little bit of a whirlwind, I'm not going to lie. It's been so much fun. So basically there was a coach here, Coach Elizabeth Elger, and she was actually my high school cheer coach. And she coached here part-time, doing just the spirit team, and she was leaving to teach abroad. And so when she left, she actually recommended me to Coach Peoples to kind of take over the program. And so she left and I came in and I was just stepped in part-time. I was just helping just like once or twice a week with the spirit team, and then COVID happened. And so we didn't get to cheer at any of the games for a whole year, but those girls continued to practice once or twice a week throughout the entire year, even though they knew they weren't going to get to cheer at any of the games. And I've been involved in cheerleading, competitive cheerleading for a very long time. We won't say how long. And I really wanted to see that at Piedmont. I wanted to see Piedmont come into that world, into the competitive cheer world. And so basically, after a whole lot of research, I put together a proposal. It was like 15 pages of why Piedmont needs a competitive cheer team, and I submitted it to Peoples. He got on board very quickly. He really loved the idea of it. And then we just had to convince like the kind of upper people and the financial guys and the president, and so everybody kind of jumped on board, and then they hired me this past summer. So I started in August, and it has been a complete whirlwind ever since. I tell people this is 100% my dream job. I cannot imagine being anywhere else. I absolutely have loved every second of it and can't wait to see it grow and see it go forward.
You talked about the immediate connection with your former coach having been here. You are a local connection here, having been at Habersham Central teaching and doing JV competition cheer for several years. So what is it about this area that just remains so special to you? Why is this place somewhere that you could see yourself staying?
So I tell people that Habersham is kind of in the middle of nothing and in the middle of everything. So we still have that small town feel, which I really like. I like that I can go to the grocery store and I'm probably going to see someone that I know. I like that, and I like that my son's going to get to grow up in that as well. But we're also, close enough to everything that you could possibly want to do. So if you want to go shopping, if you want to, go to a good restaurant, if you want to go hiking, if you want to go camping, like you've got all of that within driving distance, which I think is something that a lot of people take for granted. I think that it's just a really, really great place to be that's right there in the middle of kind of not urban, not suburban, but not really rural either. It's kind of in the middle of all of those, which I really like about it. And so I've lived here my whole life. We left for a little while and we came back, and, I think we're here to stay, and we really just enjoy this area a lot.
You mentioned hiking and camping and having the pleasure of being one door down from you with our offices. I know I've heard lots of stories, seen pictures. You guys are always out and about. I mean, you and your husband and your family are always out hiking, taking advantage of the outdoors. Tell us some of the best spots to go locally, and then share some of those fun stories. We were talking beforehand. You guys have been all around the country.
Yeah. I would definitely say that hiking is our hobby. We got into it, I don't know, probably 5 years ago or so. And so we really like to go hiking and backpacking. Around here, we really, really love Yonah Mountain. It is still one of my favorites. We have been, a ton of places. I say if there's a hike in Georgia, we've probably done it. We've done the entire Georgia Georgia section of the Appalachian Trail, and then gone into North Carolina a little ways as well. We will eventually get the entire Appalachian Trail done. It's probably going to be when we're like 80, but eventually we will get the whole thing done. And so we've gone to basically all of the spots along the Appalachian Trail. Amicalola Falls is beautiful. It's in Dahlonega. We've got Brasstown Bald is a really, really fantastic place around here. Blood Mountain is a beautiful, beautiful spot. So we just love, I don't know, we love the challenge of a good hike, especially when you're like going up a mountain. And then the reward that you get once you've made it there and you can kind of stop and look around and say like, what, we did that. What some of our favorite hikes have been in Colorado, we've hiked the 14ers out there, which is a mountain that's, 14,000 feet or more above sea level. And they are hard.
I can't imagine.
It's very difficult. The elevation gets to you because you take a few steps and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I have no oxygen in my lungs. So it's really difficult, but getting to the top of those mountains and just knowing that like, oh, I did that. Like you look down and you see these little ants like way down there and you're thinking like, I was down there and now I'm up here. And I think it's just, I don't mean to sound cheesy, but kind of like a metaphor for life. Like you get to that sense of knowing, hey, I did that. Like I was able to do that. And then once you experience that high, it's like you just want to do it again and again.
Oh, yeah.
We've experienced some really terrible hikes too. We've made basically every mistake that you can make. Just recently, like a month ago, we got caught in a blizzard in North Carolina. Oh, no. It was like record snowfall, and we were 10 miles from our car, and hearing trees fall all around us throughout the night, and it was pretty terrifying. So we've definitely had some bad experiences, but I think that that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah.
That we get to go out and we get to have these experiences and have these, laughs together. We take our little one. I've got a little 4-year-old boy, and he loves it too, and we drag him along with us, and so it's something that all of us can do together. It's also a great way to disconnect from you get to turn off your phone and you're not around traffic and anything like that, and just to kind of focus on yourself, and we get to focus on our relationship and being together as a family, and that means a lot to us. We're actually this summer going to Alaska to do some hikes there, so I'm super pumped about that. But yeah, I would say a lot of people don't realize that we live in like one of the hiking capitals. Like it is so easy to find a great hike around here, and a lot of people don't realize that. But like I said, there are all sorts, and so we really enjoy that. That's basically definitely one of our favorite hobbies.
Well, you're well-traveled, and you talked about experiences. One experience in your life is a very unique one of being able to live in Nicaragua with your husband, serving, and that kind of ties in with the Piedmont mission, and especially within athletics under the leadership of Coach Peoples, serving and just being part of a family. Tell us about that experience and what made that such an impactful time in your life.
Yeah, so my husband and I had only been married for a couple of years, and we sold everything that we owned, and we quit our jobs, and we moved to Nicaragua for a little while. There we worked in an orphanage. We helped teach some English classes there and just loved on the children. And then we started several feeding programs that are actually still being continued to this day through some different churches. So that's been really great to kind of see that continue. It was definitely a life-changing experience for me. I tell people that it was one of the hardest times in my life, but it helped me realize that I am made of tougher stuff than I thought I was. You get into a situation like that, and it was very uncomfortable, I guess is the best way to describe it. It was hot. We did not have electricity where we were staying, and so, we don't have air conditioning or a refrigerator or anything like that. And I went through a period of several months thinking, I can't do this. Like, I really can't do this. And then just being able to overcome those things and realize, there are people who live like this every single day. Like, I can do this. I am capable. And so that was a big experience in my life, just learning that it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to, not have all of the amenities that you're used to. It's really given me a heart for immigrants, especially. There are a lot of people who come to this country and they don't know the language, and it's given me a heart for those people. When I was there, I wouldn't say that I was fluent in Spanish, and so it was very hard to adjust. And I would look at people sometimes and say, like, I'm not dumb, like, I just don't know the language. And so it's given me a real big heart for especially Spanish speakers coming into this country who are learning English. Like, that's hard. And so it's definitely changed my view of the world and just kind of reminded me that we live very blessed lives. And it's, taught me that it's not worth being blessed if you can't bless others. And so that's what we try to do. And we try to, teach our son that as well, that it's very important to serve others and to, put others above yourself, because ultimately you'll never feel lower putting someone above yourself. It always raises you up too. And so that's definitely one of the big life lessons that we learned there. It was honestly a great experience, maybe not at the time, but now that we're back and can look back on it, it was really a transformative time for sure.
Sometimes that's how life goes. You learn the lesson after the fact.
Definitely.
Well, as we bring things back to Piedmont's campus, let's talk about this incoming class. It's really an exciting time because, like you've talked about, the culture around Piedmont cheerleading is changing because things are evolving, things are growing. We're moving to a varsity competition level. And it's really an exciting time because those deposits are coming in, those commitments are on the board. How many commitments do you have right now? We're starting to move toward getting to the end of the spring and moving toward that class getting to be the incoming class. And it's really awesome to see all the work that you've put in coming to fruition.
Yeah, I honestly, when I first got here, I had no idea how this was going to play out. I set the goal of 20. I wanted 20 in this on this first team. And, I had a lot of people be like, okay, that's a pretty lofty goal there. And so right now I have 18 committed, which is, we're getting there. It's so close. And there are actually several more that I've been talking to as well. So I definitely think that we're going to reach that goal of 20. And I think we're going to go past it. And I have just been blown away by the response. Coming into it, I just didn't know. I didn't know, what was the interest going to be. Like, I knew there was interest, but I didn't know, like, how am I going to get people on board with a brand new program? I think that idea of it being an inaugural year has really drawn a lot of people in. I think that a lot of girls and guys think that in order to continue their cheering career, they have to go to a big D1 school. And a lot of times that's just not, that's not what their personality is. That's not what they want. They want a smaller school. And so for me to go and tell them, hey, you can continue to cheer at a smaller school, it was like this light bulb went off. And everybody that I've talked to that are coming, we're just so excited about that. Like, oh, I didn't know that I could still do that. Like, I thought that to cheer in college, you had to go to one of these, big schools. I wanted that small town feel. I can get both. Like, I think a lot of people didn't realize they could get both. And so I think that that's been really beneficial, is being able to tell them, like, hey, you can still cheer and you can go to a smaller school. And I think that that's been really appealing to a lot of girls. It was a lot of work, I'm not going to lie, to get the word out, because a lot of people were like, Piedmont? Like, where's Piedmont? And so because we don't have a name in the cheer world, it has been a little bit of a struggle to kind of get our name out there. But I think that once I put that work in and people saw, like, oh, this is a real thing, this is actually going to happen, they kind of flocked to it. I did a lot of just going to practices, going to competitions. I went to a college combine, like, just trying to get out and let people see what Piedmont's about. And really and truly, once they came to the campus and once they saw what we offered here, it was not that hard to hook them after that. It was like people said, once they saw it, it was like, oh yeah, of course, this is where I want to be. And so it's gone so well. I am completely blown away, just completely could not be more excited for this group that's coming in. I think it is going to be a fantastic group. I keep telling people I I don't want to start off mediocre. Like, I plan on coming at it full force. And I think that the girls that I've committed so far know that, and they are definitely excited about hitting the ground running. They are already working on their skills in the off season. And so they're going to come, and I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think that Piedmont really knows what's coming for us. So
it's certainly an exciting time. What's the best way for folks to reach out to you and learn more about Piedmont cheerleading?
So on social media, on Instagram, it's just Piedmont University Cheer. And so that's really the best way to get any, upcoming events, any information that you might need, especially when we get to tryout time, which will be towards the end of the spring. All of our information will be there. Just emailing me, crayburn@piedmont.edu, is a really great way. I check my email, probably 10,000 times a day. So I definitely could get the information to anyone who wants to know. I'm working on getting some other social media up, some Twitter and things like that. And so once I get that rolling, we'll post that on the Instagram as well.
Fantastic. Well, at the end of our show, we do a segment called Where Else Would You Rather Be, which is a spinoff from Brett Loftus's call from last year. Kind of took on a life of its own. So, Kristen, where else would you rather be?
I would absolutely not want to be anywhere else but here. It's like I said earlier, I tell people all the time, this is 100% my dream job. And it's not just the job, it's the actual Piedmont campus as well. It's a beautiful place to work. I love the people here. I love the family. I came into this and I thought, some of the other coaches, especially athletic coaches, I was afraid that they would kind of like, oh, cheer? Really? We're hiring a cheer coach? They have been so receptive. They have fully embraced me, just brought me straight into the family, helped me so much, given me so much advice. And just to be able to be in a place like that, why would you want to go anywhere else?
No kidding. I'm right there with you. Well, Kristen, before we head out, we are going to snap a photo for our photo collage wall. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Piedmont People. Learn more about Piedmont and the people who make it great at piedmont.edu.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, Lord, that was that.